Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back to 4Strategy Gaming. I've got yet another StarCraft 2 commentary for you today. Today's matchup is going to be between NosLoki here in the bottom right position of Shakur's Plateau as our blue Zerg player, and over in the bottom left, we do have OGS's TheStC as our red Terran player. So Terran versus Zerg, the STC versus Loki here on Shakur's Plateau. Did just get finished with a series of games. It was a best of 3 series between Last Shadow and Todd, of which Todd did prevail. If you haven't seen those yet, go ahead and check them out. Certainly a pretty interesting series indeed. And yeah, also I don't know, all weekend was just absolutely nuts, finishing up my moving, and on top of that, I had all of that Diablo content to come out with, so that was crazy. But it's Monday, and I think I'm back on a normal schedule. We've got these commentaries, we've got a strategy video for Terran coming out, and something that's really exciting, guys. If you haven't already heard, I did just mention that I was moving during the weekend, but I'm in a new location, and my new place, it has amazing upload capabilities. What once took me about an hour and a half to upload, about a 10-minute video, now takes me about 5 minutes. Big discrepancy between those two, and what that allows me to do is actually come out with more content consistently. Well, because the upload times are absurdly low. So all it really matters is the production value time, the recording, which doesn't take that long, what's going on right now. It's post-recording, the actual rendering of the video, which still takes a little while, but my computer is also pretty beefy, so yeah, really looking forward to keeping this content churning. I know prior to last week I was away in California, but prior to that, I went about almost 2 weeks with coming out with about 5 videos a day throughout the week, Monday through Friday, and I want to keep that schedule consistent, and that's definitely something I want to do, especially with the upcoming release of the Diablo 3 beta. Trying to balance StarCraft and Diablo will certainly be heap loads of fun. Now, take a look over here. We can see the STC coming out with this Rax here in this lower position and providing him to be a little bit closer to Loki's base. We can see he actually is rallied right into that natural expansion, right under the Overlord, as coincidence may have it. Now, right now, the STC doesn't know where NosLoki is, but he's just rallying in anticipation of him being over here. If he wasn't, he would just grab his Marine and bring it up to over here, because you cannot spawn directly across, so that is why the STC knows that NosLoki is not right above him. Back over here, we can see spawning pool coming through. Still no extractor right now for NosLoki, so he will be relying just on droning up really hard and just using those regular speedlings, those regular Zerglings early on as defense. We do have a factory coming on through, and it very well may be seeing a reactor placed down on this Rax as well for some early game double Hellions. That is definitely a possibility, so let's take a look here. Does that get dropped? Should be happening right about now if he's going to do it. Come on, buddy. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Ooh, looks like there's a little bit of lag, but that's because there's some bunker placement going on over here. The STC moving forward with this Marine harass. We'll be trying to do a little bit of damage. Did I miss anything? No, looks like just a drone has been killed, but still, this is going to be a problem right now. Now, moving down with those drones, that's exactly what he wants to do. Try to get around on those Marines while they are not protected. Lots of Zerglings popping here as well. So NosLoki able to defend that, but a big thing is that the STC was able to force NosLoki to make a lot more Zerglings than he normally would. That's definitely a big advantage to this type of early game Marine bunker aggression, because normally we would be seeing about 2 to 4 Zerglings, but as we can see right now, NosLoki sitting on a lot more than that, sitting on 8 Zerglings, and that means he just has less drones than he otherwise would. There's a hot swap. We did have that reactor placed on that Rax, switching that out with that factory and moving into those double Hellions. Also coming out this expansion as well, so we'll be doing Hellion opening, moving that right on into an expansion, and then transitioning from there likely into Marine tank. We do have a tech lab coming down here on this Rax as well. Zerglings heading back home. We do have that spine crawler getting placed, and right now the primary goal for NosLoki will be to try to defend himself against the incoming Hellion aggression. He is aware that this is happening, so realizing the Hellions are on the way, definitely wants to make sure that he's got his spine crawler and his Queen placed properly. Also try to defend his ramp and make sure that those Hellions don't get on up into the main. But this Queen and spine crawler should really be enough to deal with this. At first, we did see the STC move across the map and try to get a little bit of map control. We can see there with that one Zergling kill, killing him off when he was sitting at that Xel'Naga. Moving up right into the Queen, taking one shot, managing to get a little bit of damage off, but pretty much the Queen went unscathed there, really not taking much at all, and of course the health will regenerate. And then here comes that switch right now into Marine tank as expected. Tech lab being dropped down on the factory and deciding just to go with those 2 initial Hellions for a little bit of early map control, but it looks like this Zergling sneaking its way up front, and he will be seeing that transition come through right now, so he realizes, okay, not a lot of very heavy Hellion aggression, so I can drone up, and we see him do, we did see him do exactly that. A bunch of drones were in production, also coming out with another queen as well. We do want to keep an eye out when and if he does expand. We can see right now that the STC is getting ready to drop that expansion. The orbital command is now finished. We've got layer tech coming on through for NosLoki. Looks like he will be doing that at his expansion, making this a little bit more durable to any aggression that he may be seeing from the STC. Back over here, inside of the STC's base, we can see Stimpack research coming on through. Once more, very marine heavy. He has got 2 racks with reactors on them, the one with the tech lab, primarily for those upgrades, and then here come those siege tanks. Could very well see a timing push from him with that Stimpack, with this heavy marine force and a few tanks moving out. May try to get siege mode as well, but even going with those tanks on siege, especially if we see any roaches from the opponent, NosLoki, those will certainly do very well against them. Although at the moment, it doesn't look like roaches are on the board right now. We've got a Baneling Nest coming through, also dropping down a spine crawler in anticipation of any possible drop that he may be seeing. Still seems to be a little bit worried about those Hellions, trying to make sure he's defending his ramp here and having his queen position over there as well. Now back over here inside of the STC's base, again we can see pretty much just Marine Tank is the name of the game right now, and that is what he's going to be sticking with, working on saturating that expansion. He's got another refinery coming through as well, second refinery sitting up in his main. We do have this Overlord over here. I'm assuming that this will be moved in for secondary scouting, if not changed into an Overseer once that layer has finished. Actually it has, and then that's going to allow him to do some scouting. Looks like Speedling, Baneling, Muta will be the name of the game here for NosLoki. He does have that Spire coming on through. It looks like that is sitting right over here. A couple of Banelings over here as well. Do expect, of course, those centrifugal hooks, making those Banelings that much more effective. So yes, Marine Tank, and here comes the push right now. As expected, looks like it will be somewhat of a stem timing push, although it is a little bit late. Usually you want to try to make it so that you're at the front door when that upgrade finishes, but not. We did see the STC wait a little while longer, maybe buying himself time to try to get that siege tech up, and actually looks like that may be close to finished as he makes his way across the map and towards NosLoki's base, and managing to catch that drone. And that is a problem right now, because NosLoki was using that to expand right now, so that will delay his expansion quite a bit, although he would have lost it if he actually tried to drop it, or at the very least would have been forced to cancel it off because of this very large push. But we've got a lot of Speedlings and Banelings, and this is going to be a problem right now, trying to make sure he's in a little bit of a choke. Will be forced to push back, doesn't have those tanks siege at all, and taking very heavy losses there. The Speedlings will be killing off the rest of these tanks. Banelings killing off all of the Marines as well, and NosLoki successfully defending that push. The STC, that was not pretty at all. Taking a look at the resources lost, the STC is about 2 times the resources lost here of NosLoki. So NosLoki, very, very nice defense, and that certainly put him in a great position. Will feel pretty safe to get up this expansion. We'll be seeing a little bit of a Hellion micro here, though, killing off quite a few of those Zerglings, and the Zerglings, oh boy, having a very tough time against just those 2 Hellions. Those Banelings will actually be pushing back because they're a little bit too slow to actually contend with those Hellions. A few more Speedlings trying to move forward, killing off the one. They will be trying to get the second one here as well, and I do hope that we're going to see a transition here from the STC into some medevacs. That is certainly something they need. Let's see if he can manage to kill off this last Zergling. It's going to work. There we go. The Hellion with 2 remaining HP. Those Speedlings should be able to take care of that. So I would really like to see the STC move his way into some medevac play that will allow him to do a bit of drop harass, because right now he is just severely behind NosLoki, and I am certainly quite a bit concerned. We are seeing an in-base hatch come out for NosLoki. Those Mutas are coming into play right now. We've got 6 in play, a few more coming on through as well, so he will start up this harassment. We do have some strategically placed turrets over here. One of them gets sniped down. Those Marines will be shooing away the rest of those Mutas right now. Until he gets a lot more Mutas, he's going to have certainly way too difficult of a time to actually deal with and engage that heavy amount of Marines. So Mutas floating over here, a couple more Mutas getting ready to join them as well on the board. We do have 12 Mutas in play. That is getting close to those numbers, and he's got a few free kills right here of these tanks. He can move in and get a couple snipes, but actually a few more Marines moving out to reinforce that. We'll make it a little bit more tough, and there we go. We'll be trying to snipe down the one, just doing a little bit of damage and then pushing back, and that's all you really need to do with these Mutalists. Do some damage, pull away, do some damage, pull away. Here comes that transition from the STC into medevacs right now, and he does need to drop. He does need to do a little bit of that harassment. That's certainly what is necessary right now for him to come back in the game. Couple Speedlings and Banelings moving across the center of the map at the same time. Looks like a big push from the STC. He will be targeting this 3rd expansion. We'll be trying to take it out. We do have those Mutas pulling back. Couple of burrowed Banelings over here as well. Might get some Marines to try to chase him down into those burrowed Banelings. Very sneaky there from NosLoki. That was exactly what he was hoping to do. A couple Marines moving down. Looks like getting a couple of free kills. Will the Marines chase into the Banelings. This is just like a time bomb just waiting to explode. A little bit concerned right now for the STC. Setting up his tank line, though. The Marines, again, stimmed up. Way too dangerous for those mutas to engage with. So yes, drops do need to take place because right now, in all honesty, NosLoki is in a tremendous position. He's been allowed to macro up. He hasn't really taken much damage at all. The fact that he was able to stop that first push dead in its tracks really put him in a good position, and continuing to try to pick off a few units and really trying to do the bait here into these burrowed Banelings, and that would be completely devastating for the STC. But he is making a slow push across the map, trying to avoid that position. Mutas moving forward, walking into a bunch of Marine fire, forcing them to push back. There's the scan going down, and should allow him to get a couple of these creep tumors. I hope no, it doesn't want to engage with all of those Speedlings and Banelings. I certainly wouldn't suggest that. And here comes the big push right now. Speedlings, Banes move forward, trying to get us around onto those Marines. Banelings rolling right into the Marines. Tanks getting taken out there by those Mutalisks, though. The Banelings continuing to chase away, but that siege fire taking out a majority of those Banelings. Few of them managed to catch up. Those tanks are in trouble right now. The Speedlings and Banelings did quite a bit of damage. NosLoki's third is still okay. We've got a lot more Speedlings and Banelings coming on through as well, and it looks like that will force the STC to retreat right now. He just doesn't have the forces to deal with this. Still trying to bait into those burrowed Banelings. Those guys are just waiting for that proper moment, and those Marines getting ever so close to it. Stimming up, and here, oh boy, that was very close. Oh man, he just really wants him to walk over that. That is absolutely hilarious in all honesty. And here we go, Marines just dancing. Oh, I can't take my eyes off this because this is going to be devastating once it does happen. A few Marines stimming forward, and that didn't. Oh, there we go. The big scan taking out those Banelings, but here come the Speedlings and Banelings trying to get a couple kills with those mutas of those Marines sitting in the front. Let's see it pop. No, never mind. Actually, still keeping that Baneling burrowed. If he can pop once they're right on top, he could do a bit of damage. There we go. Didn't kill him off. Obviously, the one Baneling isn't enough, especially with those combat shields, but still doing a bit of damage is nice. We're seeing a little bit of a spread here from these Marines, and we just need to wait for NosLoki to get at that proper moment to engage. He wants to try to get us around with the Marine numbers a little bit thin, pushing forward with those mutas to do a bit of damage. Again, we are seeing the STC do a little bit of a aggressive push here across the middle, but what he really needs to do is try to target the economy and take out some of the tech buildings for NosLoki, because NosLoki is still feeling pretty comfortable. He's even got another expansion coming through in the midst of all of this aggression, this basically very aggressive push across the middle from the STC. Mutas will be flying around trying to get a few free kills. The one big problem is that when you spread yourself so thin like this to defend against those mutas, those Speedlings and Banelings, it also makes those mutas, it puts them in a prime position to pick off some of your weak areas. So you really got to make sure you have some nice cover all over the place. And here we go again, a few free kills. Should be pulling back. There we go, but just getting a few free Marine kills and then pulling back. So the STC definitely needs to be careful right now. He is moving on into his third as well. Hopefully that gets turned into a planetary fortress. That is almost absolutely necessary. And come on, I want some dropping or something from you, buddy. That would certainly be very helpful right now. Moving forward to the small group of Marines, trying to snipe out some tumors and do what damage you can. But here it comes, the big push with those Speedlings and Banelings trying to get around. Mutas need to push forward. They're not in the best position right now. They want to get right up on those tanks. Those Speedlings and Banelings trying to chase down those Marines, and lots of damage to those Marines. The Mutas taking out the rest of those tanks as well. We've got 22 Zerglings coming on through, a few more Banelings as well, just with those Marines. Without that protection of those siege tanks, I'm a little bit worried for the STC right now. Here come those Speedlings getting us around. Those get shredded by those Stim Marines, though. We do need some Banelings in the mix, but there are enough muta numbers plus those Speedlings to thin up those Marines and allow those mutas to actually push forward and engage without a problem. Here come a couple of Banelings as well, followed up by those Speedlings, and OGS, the STC, just calling the good game. I cannot say his name at all. The STC opened up this game with some Marine bunker aggression. However, we did see NosLoki respond by pulling down with some drones and building a ton of Zerglings. And although that forced the cancellation of this aggression from the STC, it also forced Loki to build a little bit more Zerglings than he may have otherwise. The STC then moved into some Hellions to get a little bit of map control, and that allowed him to move into his expansion and switch into the Marine tank composition. At 9:40 game time, we saw the STC push out with a Marine tank timing push. However, this was scouted out by NosLoki, and this allowed him to catch the STC completely out of position. We're going to see Speedlings and Banelings swoop on in, those tanks out of siege, and this was a huge problem because the STC lost everything in his push here. After successfully defending against that Marine tank timing push, NosLoki moved into his third and began to macro up. The STC attempted to push on NosLoki's third, but again got caught out of position. These Marines, Spielings and Banelings will completely decimate this push and force the STC back into his base. The STC was able to get control of the center of the map, but this wasn't really much of a problem for NosLoki. He just sat comfortably macroing up, continued to expand, and then waited for the proper time to engage. And then what we're going to see here is NosLoki, once he had enough Spielings, Banelings, and Mutas, was able to just completely overwhelm everything the STC had, and that is what forced the GG. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed this. Thank you for this message as well in the middle of my cast. It's my fault. Anyways, guys, thanks again. Hopefully you have enjoyed the StarCraft commentary. Get some more videos coming out for you today. As always, if you like the content like this guy, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.